On the 30th of September 2022, Ibrahim Traore staged a coup. He was 34 at the time and his faction moved fast. They arrested Damiba loyalists, French loyalists, took control of the national media and seized the presidency. Damiba fled and there was no resistance from the public. The public knew Damiba had been protecting French mining interests, lining his own pockets over their lives. Thousands of people gathered in the streets to support him. They burned French flags and they demanded the exit of Western troops. He didn't just take power, he took the position. Within a year, he had expelled all of the French troops and cut military ties with Paris. He started to nationalize the gold. He began building a gold refinery in Ouagadougou. He opened a national gold reserve, and he has survived 20 assassination attempts on his life since 2022. The president of Burkina Faso has been hunted for 3 years, and not a single Western paper has put that on the front page. You cannot go back to pretending that this is about instability. This is the cost of sovereignty in Africa. He's actually helping here to build the gold refinery by himself. The West hates Ibrahim Traore because he's too young to control, too sovereign to be managed, too popular to dismiss, and he is backed by people around the world who are tired of 60 years of fake independence. In April this year, Traore survived a targeted hit on his convoy. There is not one piece of Western media coverage of that event. That silence is the evidence. When the media goes silent and the names just don't appear, presume this. That thread leads somewhere that the Western press is not allowed go. This man is being hunted because he cut France off from Burkina's gold. He refuses to bow to the empire's banking system. That's not instability, that's consequence. While refusing to report on the 20 assassination attempts that have happened in the last 3 years, where foreign nationals and Europeans have been arrested in Burkina Faso, where there is evidence of external backing, and locals see these assassination attempts as threats to their national sovereignty. Despite the silence on that, the Western media is flooded with stories about him. Now they've started to call his government a junta. That's psyops. That's not neutral. That tells you in one word, don't trust this leader, he's unstable and we may need to intervene. The West doesn't fight its wars with soldiers anymore, it fights with headlines. And the fight in Burkina Faso is not between random rebels and this junta state. It is between Africa's gold and Europe's banking system. If you are a creator or an amateur journalist or a TikToker trying to report on this news that's underreported, be careful who you quote. Don't accidentally use NATO talking points. Let Africans speak for themselves. And protest loudly and aggressively any attempts by your government to intervene here. Track the gold. Watch what's leaving Africa and who is taking those profits. Here's a list of some of the companies that are profiting from Burkina Faso's gold. If you're in West Africa and you're hearing the word junta be thrown around, be suspicious. So what can you do in the West? Culture is a powerful weapon, and West African culture is incredibly slept on. But culture is how these people have survived hundreds of years of colonial theft, and it is how they are building something new right now that you can get involved in. RIMA, Rencontres Musicales Africaines, will take place in Ouagadougou this October. You could help this promoter simply by following him on Instagram. I'll tag him below. Festivals like this are a great place to find new music and new artists that you can amplify. Alif Naba is a Grammy-nominated and incredibly talented Afrobeats musician. Kadi Traore is a Burkinabe filmmaker, actor and director. When you watch their movies and stream their music and buy their art, you help these people reclaim what the French is still stealing. And if you can buy their gold from them, fair mind, not being laundered through Dubai and Switzerland, that is the real liberation. Right now, there is no perfect consumer path for this. Burkina Faso is forced to sell most of its gold raw. Traore is building the nation's first in-country refinery. This is good. At the moment, Burkina earns nothing on its gold. Fair-minded gold is extraction done only by local small-scale miners under restriction. Labour and environmental standards, women's cooperatives to participate. Miners selling directly to customers, not through a million white middlemen and smugglers. This is something that I dream of for my lifetime, that I can buy a piece of jewellery from an African jeweller, a piece of gold that was refined there, and that all the profits stay there. Us in the West can help with that by simply rejecting Swiss gold. Do you really need it? You can look already for brands that have Fair Mine certification. These sources are often coming from Latin America, but we need to keep that pressure on for West African cooperatives. An action that you could take is simply send an email to your local jeweller and pester them about the supply chain. Lots of little people, annoying little jewellers doing that, pushes it up into the suppliers. That's how you keep pressure on. I demand access to fair trade gold. I don't want to be complicit in slavery. When you talk about Africa, you need to use assertive language. Know your enemy. Think like a Frenchman. Get full of expletives. They're not just poor, and it isn't just unstable. This is theft. Buying gold is a deeply political thing, and it is something that most people do not do without some consideration first. It isn't an impulse buy. Do your research.